Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully you were either at the first session or you got a chance to look at it. But if you didn't, that's fine. This is going to be still just discussion. That's going to be helpful, whether you caught the first part or not. But we do have that on YouTube that you can go back and watch, and I can share that with you if you're interested. So I'm going to just hand it off to Kelly and Stacy. I'll let you guys do a little introduction for yourselves as well. But take it away, part 2.
All right, so good morning, everyone. I'm Stacy Skenendor, and I'm the peer breastfeeding counselor at the Oneida WIC office, and I'm also an IBC.
And I'm Kelly Knable. I work at the Oneida WIC community as a outpatient WIC dietitian and a lactation consultant as well. So great to see everyone today.
Stacy, we're seeing the whole thing. I don't know if you want to move it into presenter or what's the word? Slideshow. Or not. Go ahead. We can still see it all, whatever works for you.
I just have to figure out how to do that.
Bottom right, there should be a button. Bottom right, and then it kind of looks like a little bit farther.
I'm not really.
Oh.
Almost had your cursor by it.
Yep, farther down.
Okay, like
Over
this.
what
there.
I think so.
Yep.
I have my bottom of my screen blocking it, so I can't fully see.
There you go. Got it.
Okay, well now I can't see my notes, but
Oh no, if you put it, is there like a view button?
I'm not sure.
Or if you right click? I think.
Show presenter view. Here, what are you guys seeing here?
We're seeing the presenter mode. I think if you do the 3 dots, the circle with the 3 dots.
Yep.
I
Hide
think it's,
presenter view.
we could try it. Can you see it?
I can see it, but I can't see my notes.
You can't. Do you want me to come stop by?
Sure.
Let's see if I remember.
Here we go again.
Hey, that's the way this thing goes, right? And I don't know why it's doing closed captioning. I've never seen that before. I don't know if everybody can see that, but it's whatever we're saying, it's typing, or whatever you're saying, it's typing.
I wonder if we exit the sharing and then put it in presenter mode, if that would work.
Feel free to do whatever you need to do here.
Pause. Sharing.
Oofta.
Yeah, I went there once.
Uh-oh. Is that pretty normal?
No.
What did I do? That's perfect for this.
So I opened it up through my email. I don't know if that makes a difference. I think that's the way I did it last time.
I think so. That should work. So
Hey, if you guys need to do it with the presenter mode where you can see your notes, that's fine. We could still see the slides. So whatever works.
Okay, I don't know why it keeps going black.
Yeah, it says present on mine over there, but I don't.
How did you just go to the Zoom and then started sharing and then,
Mhm.
okay. Join. If that's okay with you. I'm not really sure how to.
I mean, it's fine as long as they can see our slides, you know?
Yeah. I wonder
I
if
mean,
it
I don't
had
know.
to do with like the other screen that possibly.
Okay, so, all right. Okay. Kelly, were you doing the review or was I?
Kind of, if you would like. I think you were, I believe. It's not showing up on the screen though.
What you
Was it-
pulled up isn't up now?
Sherry, what was it pulled up before?
We're seeing just a black screen that it says you started sharing the screen, but there's nothing shared yet.
That is really bizarre.
Hmm.
Here, let me try one more. I apologize, everyone.
This is the life with Zoom.
Right.
No, because the screen kept going black.
Mhm.
It says you're sharing too. That's the weird part.
Yeah.
Okay, now it took away that screen share.
Should you do this one?
Well, it's worth a try, right?
Yeah, right. Can you see this?
It just has that same notice that you started sharing the screen, but it's just still black.
Oh, I wonder if that had anything to do with it.
See, I think before I chose that top corner one, I'm not really sure.
Can you see anything now, Sherry?
No, it's still got that same black screen.
Weird.
I should have
Should
just
we go
left the,
like all the way out and then try going back in?
Maybe.
Maybe if Kimberly tries to share it instead.
Is it's still not sharing?
uh-uh. Do you have the file, Kelly?
I
Sorry, sorry.
bring it back up.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Whatever you.
Are you- Do you have the notes by chance? No.
Mm-mm,
Okay.
no.
Because otherwise what we could do. Whoops. Do you know the email that I with the
It's that top one there, right? I think it's in there and it's that one.
or with the presentation?
Oh,
Uh-oh, Sherry.
I should have not said anything and let you guys go ahead.
Um, what you could do is you can have it here and then I could pull it up on my screen and share if that's okay. And then I'll see.
Oh,
Does that sound okay?
sure.
Okay. Fingers crossed.
Here we go.
Hey Casey, is it not working?
Oh, there it is.
All right. Can you guys see this okay?
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay. Stacy, are you okay?
I'll be fine.
All right, so just kind of review of if you were able to join us at the last part one, and we really appreciate all the great conversations that everyone had contributed in just your own experience. So if you are willing, we do ask that you do the same. We'll be asking questions, and if you have questions, feel free to stop us at the end of each slide and share your experience. We want to know, and it helps other moms, you know, try other types of experiences as well. And some may work, some may not, but it's good to know as well. But the last part one, we mainly talked about finding your support and how that is important to your breastfeeding journey, what type of things can affect your breastfeeding experience, and then also giving yourself permission when you are overwhelmed and how you can get over that as well. So part two will be mainly focusing on calming techniques for the mom and then the baby as well.
Okay, so today we're going to actually start with the calming techniques for the mom. And the first thing that you want to do is accept your current feelings. So you want to recognize and accept how you're feeling. Like, what is going on? Like, are you feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, exhausted, defeated? Like, there's so many different emotions that moms can be feeling in every stage of with breastfeeding. So kind of recognize that and accept it, because those are all normal feelings. And sometimes you can feel really alone in those, but know that there's lots of moms out there that are feeling the same way or have been through a lot of the same things that you have. So, and then you want to kind of understand, okay, what's going on? Why am I feeling this way? What's the current situation? Like, do I just need a break? Do I need rest or sleep? There's so many different situations for moms that are, you know, are you feeling pressure from, you know, your significant other or family members? Just kind of recognize why you're feeling those feelings. And then when you're thinking about using like a calming technique, you want to make sure that you place your baby in a safe place. One of the big things that we came up with was hugs. And it's amazing to me how, if you think about when you get a really good hug from somebody, it kind of reminds you of the skin to skin that you do with your baby. So it releases hormones, it calms you down, it, you know, releases the neurotransmitter serotonin, which is like a really calming, makes you calm and kind of confident in what you're doing. It's kind of considered, the way you're feeling during a hug is like kind of like meditation, where you're just kind of accepting where you're at, what you're going through, what those emotions are. You kind of like really calm and release those emotions with the hug. So, and think about the times that, you know, you're going through a hard time, not with just breastfeeding, but just being a mom in general. Sometimes you just get so overwhelmed that you just need somebody to tell you like it's gonna be okay, and like I get you, I understand you, and a hug can really, really do that for you. So does anyone want to share like how does a hug make you feel? I know like not everyone is good with the contact, but for those of us who really like hugs, like think about how that feels. Like close your eyes and just think about a good hug right now. Like for me, the feeling is like I said, you know, where it's like, I get you, I understand you. Like, it's just a good way to connect with someone else. Any thoughts out there?
Stacy, this is Candy. My relatives are really good at hugging, and it almost like grounds you. Like, say if you're running around wild and then you meet up with family and they just give you a hug and you're just like, exhale, okay, you're grounded, and
Exactly.
I thought of my nephew who has autism, and they said that firm pressure actually decreases like the neurons, like if they're overfiring. So like medically, there's truth behind that too.
Yeah. Right. It just makes me think of all the skin to skin. Why do they suggest skin to skin? It's like a hug, Thanks for sharing, Candy. Anybody else?
And remember, you can use the chat as well. If you don't want to unmute yourself, feel free to drop stuff in the chat too.
Thank you, Sherry. All right, so then we'll move on to some other calming techniques. So kind of what Stacy said too, there's a lot of similarities as from when we were babies and how we were calmed down in the different ways that worked. They still carry with us today. So just that calming, calm, secure feeling, Candy mentioned, just feeling very grounded, and you just had that huge relief of that big breath of exhale. And then you just kind of just have that nice calm feeling. So there's other ways too that can help calm your brain down. So one of those would be rhythmic sounds and sayings or activities. This helps slow down the brain and get it reorganized. Having those positive talks can be very comforting and self-encouraging. So some examples of stating, I know this is difficult, you will get through this. Kind of doing that over and over and over again, or I'm not alone. It's okay that I have this feeling, and stating how you feel. Or I can do this, and having that over and over again. It's very self-soothing, along with giving yourself that self-encouragement and positive talk. Versus if we put all these negative thoughts in our head, we just kind of go into this constant spiral, and our brain just keeps going and going and going. So these calming techniques for mom, it's any journey of your life that this can help with, no matter where you are at. Another way is humming. Humming for a few minutes, again, just kind of distracts the brain and calms you down. Take some time to get that reorganization. If anyone has heard of the grounding technique, it's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This helps bring you out of your current thoughts and emotion. If you feel like you're just constantly spiraling and thinking of the same things over and over, and it puts you back into that present moment. So examples would be, name 5 things that you see around in the room. Name 4 things that you can hear. Name 3 things that you can touch. And name 2 things that you can smell. And then 1 thing that you can taste. There. So it kind of brings your mind to a different focus, and eventually you can kind of really focus on the present moment of that. Some other ways would be just more of the physical doing. So forward fold, if anyone has done that, or if anyone has done yoga, this is a common technique, and it really helps the brain and helps relieve that stress in general. It reduces fatigue, that tiredness, and anxiety. It helps reduce headaches and provides just a great, nice stretch in general too. So great to do in the morning or at any time when you're feeling. And there's actually a photo on here to the right And they show you different ways of how to do that forward fold. If you need, a little modified block, and then eventually get that deeper stretch. You can also do this in the chair too, and do that forward fold if that works better. Another relaxation or calming technique is muscle relaxation. So this focuses on the tension and relaxes each muscle group. So you can either start from head to toe or toe to head, whichever one that you prefer. And the goal is to tense for about 5 seconds and then release and let go. And then you're working your way down or up, whichever you prefer. And you'll notice the difference after when you get done with that process. You just feel so calm and relaxed, and your muscles just feel just very at peace in that way. It's a great way to have for calming. And the last one, we thought that it would be nice to show you what box breathing is and participate in the exercise. It goes through why it's beneficial and then how to do the box breathing. And I think I learned this on one of the webinars, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. This is great because you can use it anywhere. And do that. So bear with me. I'm going to pull this up real quick and see if it. Can you see?
Not yet.
Is it working? No? Uh-oh. Let's do this here. I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties today. Is it showing now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. And I might need to participate in this one. All right. Hopefully you found that helpful. I have found that very helpful to, have other moms do, or myself. And then initially when I was taught, it was, take your finger if you're out and about and go up and inhale. And then once you reach the top, then go over and pause. And then down, exhale, and then pause. Oh, I'm not on the screen yet. And then pause, and just kind of keep doing that pattern until you feel like your breath has gone back down to normal, or you feel that calmness. It's always nice to take it out and about anytime. All right, I'm gonna pull the screen back up here. Can you guys see this?
Yep.
Great. So just as an overall takeaway message, learning to self-soothe is just as important in adults as it is for babies. And these tools can help you make you feel more in control when you are feeling overloaded by stress or just overwhelming emotions. And I would like to ask everyone, tell me about what calming techniques have worked for you. If it's not even on this screen, if you're willing to share, or if you have tried some of these before and how that worked and how you typically do that too. And just a reminder, if you want to put in the chat box instead, that works as well.
You can go.
Thanks, Sunshine.
I really enjoyed, the calming techniques for mom. I think it was very important for you to address, self-soothing for moms as well. It's just as important as being able to help your baby self-soothe. And I think it was a really good thing to put in place, that just to remind everyone, when you are feeling overwhelmed, to put the baby in a safe place and where you can take that moment for yourself. And yeah, I'm a mom of 4 and I get overwhelmed every day. It's never smooth sailing over here. And even when you have a schedule, it still is exhausting and overwhelming many of times. Somebody's always crying, someone's always looking at someone else and they don't want them to, or the baby's hungry and you're leaking and you're trying to get everyone out the door at a certain time. I think it is important just to, take that time that you need, even 30 seconds. 30 seconds may not seem like a long time, and even when you're crunched for time, but if you just take that 30 seconds just to pause and just take a step back and say, you know what, okay, everybody, and we do this at our house, when everyone's going crazy, we all just stop and we're okay, everyone just needs to take a breath and calm down. So we'll take a breath, and it really is it'll definitely restart everyone. And everything is just so frantic all the time. And that's just the way society has us going, is that at a fast pace, and definitely stopping to breathe. And I really like the hug thing too. I'm not much of a hugger. I'm just not real passionate about that. And I don't like the physical touch, and that's that's just my personal preference. But every once in a while I will, open up to accept that hug, or, ask someone if I could just give you a hug. You got your girlfriends that, are going through hard times, and you can see that, and us as parents are always going through hard times. And I think that's one way for us all to connect, that nobody's perfect, and behind everyone's door is a pile full of dishes, diapers that need to be changed, bathrooms that need to be cleaned, laundry that needs to be done. And I think we can, sympathize with each other that we're all doing our best. And sometimes you do just need that hug. And when you accept it and feel it, it is just crazy on how much better it can make you feel. And it literally validates your feelings. Like, I'm so overwhelmed, and it's just like, and then the
Yeah.
tears start flowing, you know, because it's just so emotional, and
That's
it's just
what
a
I was
hug.
gonna
It's
say.
just a hug, and
Right.
it can like just help you so much. And you know, I think about like the hugs that I've given or gotten in the past, you know, just when you need it, and it can really just like help you so much. So thank you all for, you know, validating all of our feelings and giving us these techniques that, you know, we may have known in the past, but you know, we need to be reminded, and need to be reminded that like it's okay to be overwhelmed and feel exhausted, and that like we can do it, and we're gonna make it through.
Right. And it's normal. It's normal to feel that way. Like, it's just like you're saying, you need that validation that you're not alone. Like, that other moms, they do understand, they do get you. Like, for me, I cried a lot, you know, like, but crying, it really helped me. Like, it wasn't like I would have to go cry for a half an hour, but sometimes I just had to let the tears go. Like you're saying, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, it's like, okay, then I gotta, you know, clean myself off and be like, okay, I got this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but crying always helped me when I felt overwhelmed. It's such a release, you know.
Most definitely.
Thanks.
And I think it is really important to, you know, keep you know, in sync with your partner when you're feeling overwhelmed. And I understand that, you know, not everybody is fortunate enough to have those stronger relationships, or even have, you know, like a strong support person. But if you do need to, you know, tell your partner like, hey, you know, I'm having a bad day. Like, I need some help. Like, we need to tag team this. Like,
Right.
I need some time. I just need to, even if you go for a walk for like, I was like, I need 5 minutes, you know, it's just, the baby won't stop crying, the bigs won't stop arguing, the dog needs to go out, you know, everything. And it's like, you just need to, because I mean, a lot of times, how is anyone else supposed to know how you're feeling unless you tell them? Is, you know, we tend to keep it to ourselves as parents, and
Right.
it gets overwhelming in our own heads, and you know, we're screaming for help, but we're not really saying anything.
Right.
So how is anyone, like, you can be in tune to someone's body language only up to a certain point, and you still need to be able to find that voice for yourself and for your children to be vocal to ask for that help when you do need it.
Yeah, that was part of my notes that I couldn't see, was voicing what you need, telling somebody, I need 5 minutes. I need, you know, I need a break, or I need sleep, or, you know, it's so common for moms to be like, you know, the strong one. And
Yeah.
it's just important for us to realize that for us to be at our best, we have to rely on those support people that we discussed in our last, you know, in the first part of the presentation, was, you know, knowing those support people that you can turn back to and say, I need a break. I need, you know, a 30-minute nap. I need, you know, you to take these kids for an hour so I can clean the house, or whatever it is that you need. It's okay. All of that is okay and normal.
Most definitely. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Mhm. Anybody else have anything like cool or interesting that they've tried to calm themselves down in overwhelming times?
Erin did put a comment in the chat, reading a book. I think that's great. You kind of can escape to
Yeah.
a different place, different people, and take a few
Yes.
minutes away from yourself. So
That's great.
Anyone else? Alright. So what we'll do is we'll move on to the next slide. I thought this slide may already be well known to a lot of individuals, but it's always nice to have that reminder, just like Sunshine had mentioned. It's just a nice reminder to know about those calming techniques and to take time for yourself. This is a great reminder. Babies do cry because they're tired. Maybe your routine had gotten a little out of whack because of appointments or something else. Holidays are coming up and babies are just kind of overstimulated and tired. Maybe they have a wet, dirty diaper. Maybe they need a break from an activity, like there's too much sound, too much lights, too much stimulation going around in the environment. Maybe they're a little too cold or too hot. If they're not feeling very well, if they're sick or they need to pass gas and they're working it way through their body, they're kind of a little bit more fussy and crying. Maybe they have colic or food allergies that they're dealing with too. That can be very uncomfortable. Another reason babies cry is because they are hungry, and usually typically it's a late hunger cue at that point too. Babies cry because of a surge in development. So they have different gross motor milestones, around the 4-month mark, they're learning how to roll over. At 6 months, they're learning how to sit up. At 9 months, they're learning how to crawl. 12 months, they're usually learning how to walk, roughly around that time frame. And it takes a lot of energy working on those skills, which then again can cause a little bit more crying or waking up in the middle of the night, just because they're a little bit more overstimulated in that sense. And the last one of reasons why babies can cry is they just have that fear. So usually around the 9-month mark is when they start to get that stranger danger going on. So if someone's holding them and they're not recognizing, it's like, what's going on with that? So I thought there was a wonderful, we're going to show another video. And it just kind of goes over babies crying and then talking, observing, and then doing to help the baby calm down. And Sherry, you might recognize this one. Yeah. Do you see it? Okay, great.
But we
I think that
can't
was
hear it very well.
No, okay. I have. Oh, that's all the way up.
Kelly, there's a button when you press share.
Mhm.
You have to click over so it says audio audio play. You have to basically turn on the speakers. So under share.
Should I exit out of it?
Yeah. So when you press share, there should be like a little tab that you can.
Oh, share sound.
Yeah, yep.
Let's try the stereo. See if that helps. Thank you. Do you want me to replay? Right here. You hear it okay?
Most parents find the rebooting, fussing, and crying zone especially challenging. I'm cold, I'm tired, I can't wake up, I can't get to sleep. It's helpful to know about the normal crying pattern of newborns. 2 weeks after their due date, many babies start crying more. This normal increase in crying peaks when the baby is about 6 weeks old, and then starts to decrease over the next few weeks. If a baby is born 2 weeks early, he will increase his crying at about 4 weeks old. His crying will peak at about 8 weeks and then start to decrease. A crying newborn should initially be considered a hungry baby and be put to the breast for feeding. Skin-to-skin care is an effective way both to calm the newborn and to enhance breastfeeding during those first early weeks. Once breastfeeding is well established, parents with a crying baby often say, "Just tell me what to do." As you watch your baby respond to your efforts to comfort her, you will soon discover how best to help her calm down. First, try talking quietly to your baby. Research shows that babies respond best to quiet, melodic, repetitive sounds. This mother notices that when she calls her baby's name, the baby decreases her crying and begins to calm down. Second, wait a moment and observe how the baby responds to your voice.
Are you waking up?
Maybe the baby will bring her hand to her mouth or try to suck her fingers. Babies sometimes move into the fencing pose, a common newborn reflex. With her head turned to the left, her right arm and leg bend and her left leg extends. When her left arm extends into the fencing pose, she is able to focus on her hand, which helps to keep her calm. If your baby continues to cry, do actions are needed.
It's great. So when you hold her hands like this helps her calm down. That was very good, yeah.
This father watches his baby calm with a gentle sway. And of course, many mothers learn that wearing the baby or putting the baby to the breast will calm their babies. Some babies need even more help, though. Lactation specialists caution that swaddling the newborn interferes with breastfeeding. However, once breastfeeding is well established, swaddling an older baby for a few minutes can help to calm the child. Parents who choose to swaddle their baby will want to follow guidelines for safe swaddling.
A little swaddle and a little swing. That's right. Yeah, that calms me down.
Any thoughts about the video? Anything that you liked or were surprised about?
All right, it's 11:05. I'm going to try to start promptly at 11:05 each time. So welcome. Is everybody psyched? I'm psyched.
Probably went to the next video.
I know, I was like, oh.
I was wondering what the reason was, what they hold both hands like that. Is that
I apologize. 1 second. There we go. Was that Candy?
yeah,
Can you repeat your question? I'm sorry.
about the doctor holding babies' two hands? Is that how that was? What the reasoning was behind that?
Yep. And actually, I'm going to be touching base too in a couple slides. The reasoning behind that is more of that security. So it is a form of hold that it's almost like a hand hug for a baby. It just really takes that security for that baby and just like calms them down. Kind of almost puts them back into, you know, when they were in your belly, they were in that more of that secure position, and it helps calm down. Thanks for asking. Any other questions or surprised thoughts? Ooh. Oh. And then Stacy, I think.
Yep. Okay, so this is just kind of a quick review for everyone on the infant cues. So some of the things that babies do when they're ready to be or want to be engaged are things like smiling. Their eyes are nice and wide open and they're really relaxed, just kind of chilling. They follow your voice or your face. Basically, they're just in a really relaxed state, and their whole body is just kind of more in a relaxed state. Some of the disengagement cues, I mean, I think about this even as adults, turning or pushing away when you don't want to, you know, deal with whatever. Having a stiff body, babies will just really tighten their muscles and have very jerky movements. They're grinding or crying, or they're yawning. They're really just telling you, I need a break. So Kelly is going to kind of go over some things that you can do to help with those disengagement cues.
So when babies typically will go into that disengagement cue, that's when it can be very stressful for you and the baby too, especially when the baby's crying and crying and you just feel so overwhelmed. So the biggest helpful tip that can help with calming techniques is making sure that you are doing them for at least 5 minutes before you try another one. And I know 1 minute can even feel like an hour within that time frame when you're dealing with a crying baby. But that consistent calming down for at least 5 minutes will really help reorganize the baby and their feelings and really help ground them down to calm down as well. So with the first one, it's just like with adults too, finding that words, the sounds, the phrases, and saying it over and over again can be very calming down. Like the video, they talked about talking in a very calm sense. So common words, phrases, or a lot of women will use the shh sound or the humming, or saying, it's okay, it's okay. And usually this pairs really well with rhythmic motions like a stroller, car ride, rocking and bouncing while saying those calming words. Those two tend to work really well together as well. Another calming technique would be more noise or sounds. So having that white noise with the clothes in the dryer, a vacuum cleaner, a fan, hair dryer, and you might be thinking, what? It should be absolutely silent. But when we think about infants in utero, they hear so much of your belly gurgling, they hear your heartbeat, they hear outside environmental noises that are consistent noises over time. So it's not surprising that babies do like to have a little bit of sound versus that quiet with that too. And then the other options are, and I'm going to go a little bit more in depth in this next slide too, are more of the doing. So that skin to skin, containment hold. If you look at one of the pictures with the 2 split pictures, that's the containment hold. Candy, I know this hopefully will answer your question a little bit further too. So this just really calms the baby down. You can either do side or stomach position while holding the baby with that. The hold, which is the other picture, Dr. Robert Hamilton is a well-known pediatrician. He came up with this hold and found it very helpful for a lot of parents to calm their babies down. The colic hold and then swaddling as well. Any questions before I move on to the next slide, or thoughts, comments? So I hope you guys are okay, but I'm gonna bring the baby into this, if you guys can see. I might not be able to do everything just because the legs don't flex very well, but I'll do my best. I don't know if you're a visual learner, but it's kind of nice to see. So if we look at the top right picture, that would be your skin to skin. This is great for younger infants and older infants. It's typically called the kangaroo hold in that picture. And what that does is it regulates your baby's heartbeat, breathing, temperature. So if your baby is really hot or really cold, your skin automatically lowers that temperature if they're too hot, or increases it if they're shivering. And over time, it does reduce the crying. It helps with just strengthening that bonding and understanding your baby's cues overall. And then if we take a look at the top left, sorry, not bottom, is the containment hold. So I added another picture. I know I said the side laying one. So again, human touch is just so healing, like Stacy had described with that hug earlier. It's a gentle but firm pressure on the arms and legs. So either you can, I might have to back up here. Can you see that okay? Either you can take the feet and then just push it up a little bit closer in the body, and then you can either hold onto the baby's arms and put it in and push a little pressure down, or you can put your hand on top of the head. And again, that really puts the baby in more of that containment hold of feeling secure and then settle down too. Or you can have the hands crossed with a little firm pressure with the hand too. And this is really good to also have some of those talking cues of just like shh and calming down. So a lot of parents feel that this really helps with when babies get immunizations or during diaper changes and the baby's just like all over the place, frantic, and just other ways too. This really helps slow down the baby's movement and then eventually calms down. So with that hold, it's kind of like a hand swaddling, just soothes and calms and then offers that security as well. And then the middle one is the hold. So that would be Dr. Robert Hamilton that had come up with this hold, and supposedly it is just magical. And what you would typically do is you would cross the baby's arms. And again, I apologize if I can't do this very well. Nope. Cross the baby's arms here, and then you want to put that support underneath the neck and the head. And then you can either support the baby's bottom like underneath or here, and then kind of do that 45-degree angle and just do that rocky motion. And if you want to add a little bit of sound too, and just kind of get that self-soothing, this really calms the baby down. And it's great to do skin to skin if you're able to after that. All right, and then the bottom right would be more of the colicold. So the 3 3s, crying for more than 3 hours for at least 3 days out of the week for about more than 3 weeks. This typically peaks around 4 to 6 weeks and then starts to discontinue around 3 months. So the thought here, this would be a very calming hold, uses gravity to apply gentle pressure on the stomach and then helps the gas move through and pass through. So you can either do this if you want to add another arm. And again, I'm sorry, this is not very flexible. And then support, and then you're sitting there and holding the baby. If you want a hand free, then you're able to kind of do some other tasks around the house. And this, again, the baby can be looking away, so the baby can have that time to reorganize and calm down too. And the last calming technique, it's in the bottom left. That would be the swaddling. And just like the video had mentioned, this is great for when breastfeeding is well established. So you can see those feeding cues earlier on. And then using in a more like short period of time to really, again, that containment feeling of feeling secure really calms the baby down. And if you, again, are able to do skin to skin, that's going to be just amazing to have that time with you and the baby. So just a takeaway message, find what works best for you. There are probably a couple of calming techniques that Stacey and I had gone over that may not work for you. And there might be 1 or 2 that really work well. And then sticking with it for about 5 minutes before you switch to another one is going to really help the baby reorganize the crying and their brain as well. So would anybody be willing to share their experience with calming techniques that have worked for you and your baby?
This is Candy. I wish I would have learned this for my first. I had a colicky first, and it's funny because that's the position that's the only position that she liked, and it was kind of like on our knees or our hands. I know my her dad and my dad would carry her around like that, and it really is. You think about it, it's release and pressure on the stomach, which they say colic is. They just have, their stomach kind of hurts all the time. But yeah, it was total process of elimination with her positions. She was on formula, switched, but yeah, it was quite the struggle. And like you said, 3 months, and whoa, she was a different person.
And 3 months can be a long time too.
Eternity, yes.
Yes. Thank you for sharing, Candy. Does anyone have any other thoughts, techniques, or traditional ways that you've used for your family?
We would wrap up the baby, so we would swaddle our baby, and he would just be so crabby, and he would be fed, a clean diaper, warm, everything, rock him forever, bounce him, do whatever. Did the 45-degree hold. That was pretty much a lifesaver, like every now and then. And then finally and he would love to go in the car. He would love to be in his car seat. He could sleep all day if we were driving around. And of course, I can't drive around forever with a newborn. And it was just so exhausting. But when it's 2:00 in the morning and you're at your wit's end and you can't get the baby to go to sleep, you take him for a ride around the block and he's out like a light. And it's just like, why did I wait so long to do this? I know this is what works. As exhausting as it is, had to bundle him up, go outside, put him in the car seat. Oh, it was just like so much work. But also, I think because that tight containment and security would definitely help. But also swaddling him up and tying him up in his cradle board and then just posting him on the couch. Those cradle board babies are cradle board babies for a reason. Like, that is what they do. They stay so tight and contained. And I think it's, just relaxing to them that, when they're moving around, they're not like getting out of their swaddle, and it's not, letting them like move around and wake up. They're staying tight and contained and can sleep for like 2 hours straight. It's amazing.
Great calming techniques.
Yes.
Does anyone else have experiences or thoughts that they would like to share? Or put in the chat box. I can't see it. Sherry, you might have to.
Yeah, not seeing anything in the chat at the moment.
Okay, great.
I also had another suggestion was infant massage. Kind of made I don't know if it was a comeback, if it ever was around, but in our community baby showers, we would have a presenter present on it, and she would show, parents different techniques, and like, who does not like a massage, So it came down to the tiny humans were getting a massage. And most recently we found out one of our, she's on our breastfeeding committee, is going to get trained to be a, what do you call her, infant masseuse. And she was looking for babies in the community to work on. So that'll be something that is new and a little bit more common, I guess, in our community, which I think is awesome.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing, Candy. If there's any possible way that I could see this, I would love that, absolutely, to see that. All right, so just in conclusion, know what your support system is. That was from the part 1. And then allow yourself to give yourself permission to your feelings is always half the relief. And then finding that calming technique that works, whether it's a hug or in other ways of words, physical doing like the forward fold, the box breathing, any of those kind of techniques to calm yourself down. And also asking for help too. And then also understanding your infant's cues will really help decrease this overall stress in general. Oh, and then last but not least, keep calm and breastfeed on. We did have just resource support as just a reminder here, and then our resources page 2. So Stacey and I just want to thank all of you. Thank you for letting us join you and speak on this topic for both part 1 and part 2.
Thanks for everybody's input.
Well, thank you, Kelly and Stacy. I really appreciate this kind of talk, especially because we can see, like you said, we're kind of multi-purpose learners, or whatever the word is, where we see and we can read. And I think that's really helpful for all of us. And I really appreciate to everyone in listening who was providing comments and giving some experiences that they've had. I think that's really helpful for everybody. Any last comments or questions for Stacy and Kelly? We have a comment. Hold on. Oh, thanks for the great info was just a comment in the chat. And I'm not seeing anything else. Okay, well, thank you guys again. We really appreciate the time and that you actually put in 2 whole sessions with this information. So we really appreciate that. And this was recorded, so I don't know if there's a way we can take out the first technical part where we had a few minutes of us floundering, but at least
Sorry
the
about
good,
that.
the middle part was really great. So we really appreciate that. And we are looking at our next session in December. We're doing a healthy holiday eating. So it's kind of a more broad topic. And we've got a couple of volunteers that are going to demonstrate some fun snacks. So if you, we'll be getting some information about that out as well. But I just want to say thank you again, you guys, for joining, and Kelly and Stacy for your presentations. And we'll see you guys again.
Thank you.